Hey guys, Offroad MudMowers. Today, we're going to be getting the clutch and gas done. Enjoy! On the Honda by far, I got the clutch here. This pedal is actually just tack welded on, but I got the clutch here, and you can see that that arm has a link connected to it. And what this is a little lock collar, like that, and it's got this thread in it. So I put a Briggs engine shroud bolt on there, and then it's just a pretty solid piece of I guess you could say, and it stops on that, which also stops that very nice and solidly. And down here you can see that there it is again. Goes through a little brake rod I cut up, goes into that and into my clutch. So there's all of that. This thing was a nightmare, let me just say that. It was a little bit fun getting it to clear all of the frame pieces. And you can see how much clearance there is up in there. But it works flawless. What I do need to do is well, actually I don't need to, because when I get the belt on, this right here is like fully engaged. This would be more or less where it would actually be, and then this would be clutch. This would be about where it is, and the belt will actually stop it from going any more like this, because that's clutch in, this is clutch out, and the belt will hold it. I've also got some holes right up in there. You can't really see it too well, but there is a little bracket on this right on over here, like a spring from here to over here somewhere, which will pull it like that, which will tighten up the belt, which will work all nicely. This is also the steering arm, which I'll put it on here. Let me see, I want to try to put it on here like about that, and push it up on there. Steering arm's on there now, and this would be maxed out one way, and what I'm trying to do is keep it this straightest movement I can, not like all the way over here and then it stops right about here. I want to get like the straightest movement possible, and it goes like that up there, so you can see. Wow. Uh-oh, don't fall off. It hits a little bit on there, but I'm not going to be too worried about that. I also probably don't have this in the right position, on the right spline, but it works very nicely, and I'm also, like I said, I'm not too worried about it hitting there, because that would be like the belt would be like really loose. Honestly, the belt would be like in here somewhere, not way over here like that. Got this all ready to be welded up. This is the gas versus the clutch on that side. So, took this and I just, it had a hole right about here. Ground it off flat, took the die grinder and made it nice and round. So this 1/2-inch sleeve, which is a little bit bigger on the outside, but I made it so it fits on that, and it's got a little bit to hold on to on each of the ends, but not much. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just gonna ticky-tack it there and then rotate it. This one's just welded up right there, just so I can kind of test everything out. But I've got my marks, and I'm pretty sure it's going to stay. And what I did is just measured from the frame here to this, which is 4 inches, And I did the same on this side. Went from the frame right back in here to this, which is 4 inches. So I put a couple marks on that. Mark, and then I'll cut this off about 1/4 inch over here and put one of these lock collars on it. So that will work all nicely. Seems pretty straight. It's a little bit loose on there, which it won't matter too much, but we'll see how it works. Got that just kind of tack welded up on there now. So I can slip the cable like that. Do that. You can see that now, and then I will flip this frame up and kind of weld up in there. Take that cable, bend it that way. I think I like where the slot is, so it's pushing it away, whatever. But in all honesty, it really shouldn't even want to like try to come out there. It'd have to come out that far and then do that. But I have just barely enough tension to keep this thing from going back like that. So here's the gas pedal. That's what I got done to it. I put that piece so it's flat with the tube. It's kind of hard to see, and then I welded the valley, grounded it flat, and on this side welded that in. Goes on something like this. Put it on there, and then you can, just barely passes right through that, but goes like that, and then I can slip that in, and then it'll lock into that hole with that in there. Tension on this like as if it was at idle. This stops right about here, which is straight up and down, and then I can push this. It's gonna take that away in my hand. It's basically gonna go until it hits there, but I actually might have to trim this out because the end piece, as you can see, would get close to hitting there. So I'll trim that out and then probably add some kind of piece of metal. This is the piece here. Add some kind of piece that comes up here and it catches it on this. Gas pedal's pretty much done now. So all I've done is, can't really see it, but there's the spacer right here, which is the bushing, and then there's this one. You can kind of see which one. It's kind of hard to see, but that one just takes up the space, and then I've got the lock collar on the end. So if I was to move this clutch link, it's also moving the lock collar, and the gas pedal just floats on its own and is maintained in that space there now. And I'll do the same on this side. I'll put a little spacer, and then I'll put the gas pedal, but the gas pedal, or the brake pedal, clutch pedal, but it'll be always connected to that. So I really don't need a spacer, or I kind of need a spacer to keep the shaft from coming this way. This keeps it from going that way. And down here I got some work done. You can see I got a washer to put the spring on. It's a little bit of an awkward spring because just the way it bends. It would be nice to have a flat spring, like what spring that doesn't come out like this, but whatever. And I got a hole drilled in it for the spring, so that works out nicely. And I got this big red bracket that I went off of this mount, which I actually broke it off and moved it over just about 1/8 of an inch to get the cable more straight, and then welded it on there. And yeah, and then welded that red bracket on it. Goes back here. This is the stop, full throttle, idle, and welded that tab on there so it stops at idle. Give you guys an action here. that works all nicely now. And you can also see that I took that slot that I had going at this angle and I filled it in with weld, ground it, and then put the slot going from the bottom up to that hole, because when you stomp on it, it's trying to pull the cable out. I should have realized that, but now it really can't just like fall out of here, because whenever you're doing that, it slightly pulls the cable up, which works nicely. Well, there we go. Pretty much all done now. This has pretty much stayed the same since the last update. It's all nice and tight. Works just fine. And then got the spacer in here, and about got it so it's 4 inches away from the frame. And now that all works, and you can see the clutch action down in there. So I got about that much sticking out of this. I actually, well, you can see I welded it all along there and on the back too, so I filled that gap in. And then I also drilled this out so it could fit over that, because I needed about 1/4 inch of spacing, so this, when I drilled this rod out in here, I could put it on there and get rid of that gap so this wasn't all sloppy. But it looks pretty nice. You can see that pedal moves a little bit when I move this one, but that'll be all good when I have the spring holding it like this, and it won't try to move that at all. But I still gotta put a hole in that and a hole in that for a bolt, and a bolt because it's got a little bit of slop. So yeah. But other than that, drilling those 2 holes, clutch and gas is pretty much done. I think the only thing I might do is just kind of like, once I can get this thing driving, just test it out, make sure like everything's all nice and where it stops, it's good stops. I try to make that the same stop as this. But yeah, I gotta get the belt done, and we should be almost done to go. I gotta get the shifter done too. It's looking good. Alright, next day, got all these gears cleaned up, right? So these were the gears out of the broken transmission. I also had like another bucket somewhere in here that I had another 930 parts, and I just dumped them in here and washed them all up. This was that broken one, like I said. So I don't need these, but I might actually keep them, because like the splines, I could probably use those on something like this too. I mean, this isn't really damaged too bad, but I'll look these over. Like, I think this is junk, but anyways, got those cleaned up. I'll just toss those parts in there now. I just kind of threw together this transmission, and I ended up putting a washer on there now. So there's the washer. So I gotta put the grease fitting in. It's in 6th gear, so I can put this pulley on, and see it works just nicely, and it's all quiet. There's no like gear grinding or anything, so I'm actually excited about that. Like I said, it does shift pretty nice. It's a little bit hard when it's all moving around, but that's neutral. But yeah, awesome. I was testing out where I can put these belt pulleys. I'm pretty certain this one's going to be remaining here. That's a pretty nice angle because it comes down off there, in there. And it's also straight with that too, right? And that will then go from here to clutch back there, and it passes through all of this stuff, and it even barely passes that right there. It just goes a little bit beyond that. There's that pulley. What I did notice, which I should have noticed, is I actually bought this pulley because this is I don't know, I got this clutch off of Murray, and it had a frozen V pulley, so the V pulley would be up here and this flat pulley would be back here. But the problem is, when I put the thing for that. And for that, the V is sticking out that way. The transmission pulley V is sticking in that way, so I could flip the belt, but that would just wear it out even more. Not like it's going to get worn out fast enough with all these bends. So now I'm just going to put this pulley on there. It seems okay. I gotta punch that center stool out. Put that on there, and then I gotta get some kind of flat pulley to go on that. And that should be our copacetic. And I've also got this, which I'm hoping will go something kind of like, it's kind of hard to do, but like that. And it's gonna take the belt over to this side, which I will need another idler pulley right about in here to then pull the belt and just guide it right back to that. And this will be the driving side. This will have all the power going through it, so that's gonna be nice. And I've got, like I said, this is the broken transmission that had all these broken pieces. This was one I tore apart that was complete. So I took all these complete pieces and put them in there because I don't want to mix up all the washers and stuff, because I know this has a complete set. So I'll wash these parts off now that they've been cleaned in diesel, and then I can literally just assemble that and throw it in the front transmission. Anyways, boys, got pretty much all the parts I don't need in there. And like I said, I got this nice and working right. So there we go. And I've also got all of these gears now cleaned up. That's a complete except for the axles, which I will just be using the spline axles, and I'll be putting 2 more extra spider gears in to lock it up. So yeah, that's enough to finish that one, but that one actually will get these gears because this is the front transmission with that. Yeah, glad I got the gas done, works on nicely. I think I figured out for this because, like I said, with that big cast iron exhaust, it hits on the bowl back in here. So I think I'm going to try to just get some steel and trace that, put it on there, round that out, put those flanges on there and get some like 3/4 inch tubing, wrap it down in there, connect them, and then just wrap them down the side, kind of down here, into some kind of muffler right about here. Muffler might vary in location just because the way the tire is going to be doing its thing. I think that's probably might, well, maybe that won't do anything, but it won't articulate, so I don't have to worry about it getting too close to the frame. It'll be pretty far away, honestly. But I did get tires ordered up just now. They will be here hopefully by next week's video. I can kind of show you guys what they're going to be. If you got any guesses, they're Ken the brand. Try to guess what they are down below. And if you know me, they're not a tire I've used so far on anything, so they're going to be new to me. So yeah, they're pretty aggressive. Can't wait to get those on. And then, like I said, we can get the clutch and all hooked up. Anyways, guys, till next time, stay tuned for more.